Esau and Jacob, brought to you by United Hebrew Nation. Here's the story of two brothers who were fighting with each other even before they were born. It led to much trouble and unhappiness, but then, fighting always does. Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah. Many years went by, and still they didn't have any children. And so Isaac prayed to God, "O Lord, please look with favor on my wife Rebekah, and bless us with children." God heard Isaac's prayer. Of course, God hears every prayer. And he answered it. When Isaac was 60 years old, Rebekah became pregnant, and not with just one child, but with twins. But before they were even born, Rebekah could feel them kicking and fighting inside her. "Why is this happening?" she called out. And God answered her, "The two children inside you will become the fathers of two nations. Just like the two are fighting with each other now, the two nations will struggle with each other. One will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." Soon it came time for the children to be born. The first baby born was a boy. He was all red and hairy all over, and so Isaac and Rebekah named him Esau, because that means red. The second baby was also a boy, and he came grabbing onto Esau's heel, because Jacob wanted to be first. So they named him Jacob, which sounded like their word for heel. As you can see, skin color was only talked about with Esau, because Jacob was a normal color baby and had melanin in his skin, but because Esau was another color, Isaac thought he had to love Esau more. The boys grew up. Esau became a strong and skillful hunter who loved the outdoors, while Jacob was just a tiller of the grounds. One day Esau went out for another one of his hunting trips. He must have been gone for a few days, and the hunting was not too good for him, because when he came back, he was starving for something good to eat. It just so happened that when Esau came home, Jacob had just made a great big pot of hot, steaming stew. The mouth-watering smell filled the air. "Give me some of that red stuff, I am starving," Esau demanded. Jacob was a schemer, and so he said, "Sure, I'll give you some stew if you will give me your birthright." See, we are always trying to come up when we see an opportunity, and that is what Jacob did. The birthright was a very important thing. It went to Esau, because he was born first. When Isaac died, Esau's birthright would make him the head of the household, and he would get twice as much of Isaac's wealth as Jacob would. But here is where Esau made his mistake. He was hungry now. He didn't care about tomorrow. All that birthright stuff wouldn't happen for a long time. But Jacob was wiser. He knew one day tomorrow would come. If he had the birthright, one day he would become the head of the household. "Give me your birthright, and I will give you some stew," Jacob said again, as he slurped on a steaming spoonful himself. All right, Esau said, "You can have my birthright. What good will it be to me if I starve to death?" Not that he would have starved to death. He was just hungry. "Do you promise?" Jacob said. "I promise," Esau snapped. "All right then," Jacob said, and he gave Esau what he wanted. And so Esau gave away his birthright for a bowl of soup and few pieces of bread. That wasn't too smart on Esau's part, but later Esau would not keep his promise to Jacob, but that is another lesson.
We interrupt our broadcast to bring you a story now breaking nationwide. We have reports coming in from all major news agencies that...
Shades apart, twins, one black, one white. Unusual pair of German twins illustrate relatively rare phenomenon. ABC News Medical Unit. July 22, 2008. Twin boys born in Germany July 11 are turning heads for more than their baby faces in an unusual genetic occurrence. The brothers were born with dramatically different skin colors. German mixed-race couple Stefan R. and Florence L. Jerft pose for the media with their twin boys. German mixed-race couple Stefan R. and Florence L. Jerft pose for the media with their twin boys Ryan, second L. and Leo in a Berlin hospital July 18, 2008. The twin boys, who have radically differing skin colors, were born on July 11 by cesarean section. Fabrizio Bench/Reuters. More photos. The baby's mother, Florence Addo Jerf, called her twin infants black and white in an interview with German broadcaster RTL. The older twin, Ryan, takes after his white German father, Stefan Jerf, while the younger, Leo, looks more like Addo Jerf, who hails from Ghana in West Africa, she said. I could not believe it at first. I think people will probably laugh when they see my boys and hear they are twins, Adam Jerf told RTL. But while some passers-by will stop and stare, others might not even blink an eye, and with good reason, according to genetics experts. That sort of combination is not as rare as you might think, says Dr. Melissa Fries, Director of Genetics and Fetal Medicine at Washington Hospital Center in Washington, D.C. How does this happen? Birthing twins who have different skin colors might seem like a 1 in a million shot, but the odds are dictated by genetics. Just as siblings receive different genes, so do fraternal twins, Fries says. Fraternal twins are the product of 2 different eggs, fertilized by 2 different sperm. Therefore, they receive different genetic information. Scientists believe that at least 7 genes are responsible for a person's external hue, Fries says. And though it's more likely that the genes from the mother and father would have caused both children to have blended skin tones, it's simply a matter of chance that the children ended up as opposites. While the children may not understand the genetic basis for the difference, it may cause them to identify more with a parent with whom their skin color is closest, similar to a set of opposite-sex twins, in which the male identifies with a father and the female with a mother, Ainsley says. To children, it's simple, says Washington Hospital's Fries. I got my color from mommy and you got your color from daddy. The difference might only become an issue when the children reach school age. Topiform. Bottomiform, until the world becomes defined in racial terms. They may not fully grasp it, Ainsley says of the skin color difference. It may just feel like part of the known world. But when the children outside their family bubble and become more integrated in society, problems begin. The way in which society values or devalues different color typing or ethnic markers may influence how the child feels about him or herself and how they feel about the other twin, Ainsley says. NYU's Walter agrees. We know in this country that there is so much racial prejudice and profiling that one kid may be treated differently, he says. That behavior, however, is culturally based, whereas the twins themselves are a product of pure scientific coincidence. Since the parents are different races, the children are mixtures, Walter says. We're all different mixtures of our parents.